All right, we're here with Pat, and he just had a run in the flow. Pat has a Gnar as well, that's right?
Yeah.
And paddles some other boats too, right?
Yeah. A lot of the Waka boats I've paddled.
What's your spec, Pat?
6'2", 180.
This is the medium flow, obviously, because nothing else has been released yet. And that's a large Gnar, just for comparison. So what are your initial thoughts?
It paddles similar. Like, it has the same comfort as a Narvana, but I think it's way more nimble. Still very fast. It doesn't feel like a small boat, but it's definitely much smaller. It's really easy to carve into eddies, to carve out of eddies. Boofing is spectacular. Like, just on Maytag, even at the end of the run, you could drop your bow a lot, and then when you sent it back up and skipped, it felt like you got full boat like disconnect, because it's just so small and light. I think even in Class 5 it would be really good because it's so nimble. At least Class 5 creeking. I think big water would be nice to be in a bigger boat. But I think if you like the Narvana, you would like it a lot. I think the Narvana is an easy boat to paddle, and I think this is even easier. It's very easy to control. I think in both boats, bringing the seat back, it makes a world of difference in terms of your ability to control it.
Okay.
The Narvana especially, it's just so big in the bow. Like, you can afford, and it has a big stern, you can afford to move it back a little bit. And I think that allows you to control it versus, I think a lot of feedback I hear is it trails off when you get out of rapids or in a skip. And if you bring it back, you can really, I think, control that a little bit more. The comparison between these two boats is a lot like going from an OG to a stout, but this is more capable than I would say like a stout. Like, I paddled the stout on the Little White, but I think this would be even more fun on the Little White, more confidence inspiring than the stout, because has a lot of the modern features of a modern creek boat.
What if somebody's trying to decide between like a Gnar and the flow? They can only buy one.
Well, I think if you wanted to run big water, I think the Narvana might be a better option, because you're not going to get pushed around. I never feel like I'm getting pushed around in the Narvana.
Okay.
I've only paddled this on low water or Letta, so I don't know, but I feel like you might get pushed around on like some runs that are...
Are you in a medium Gnar?
Yeah. But
cool. Any other thoughts? Anything that we didn't cover?
No, that's sick. I'm excited to get it on some drops and waterfalls to really feel the skipping sensation.
Yeah.
So.
Did you get a chance to surf it at all?
Yeah, there's some waves, and it's really easy to like just stay on the wave, to not feel like you're gonna pearl and to carve. Like, I think they took a lot of the features of the Jackson, the Rockstar 5, and put it into a creek boat. It just feels really comfortable on a wave.
Edges felt good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Sweet. All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we got Derek here. Derek, you had the flow out yesterday, right?
I did, yeah.
Can you give us your spec before we get into it?
I am 165, 5'10".
And you paddled a medium Narvana for quite a while.
Yeah, about the last year.
And then more recently you got a Stoke?
Yeah, and I still have my Narvana too.
Okay.
Yeah, I like both boats.
And what are your initial thoughts?
I feel like it's a very capable small creek boat. I didn't really notice the lack of volume a lot. I didn't feel like I was like getting stood up if I kind of like plugged a hole a little bit. Felt definitely like it's a creek boat for sure. This is the medium. At my size, it felt right. I think it's just like the Narvana, like one of the easier boats to boof.
Did you notice any significant difference in like edging with the Gnar versus the flow?
Yeah, the flow feels definitely edgier, but in a good way. I mean, I didn't feel like the edges were a super big liability. I mean, they're both boats with, rails on them, but I felt like this was definitely able to like catch eddies really tight, definitely better on a wave. And just, I think the lack of length really allows for more maneuverability.
Because I think it's like 5 inches shorter than the medium.
Yeah, you can tell for sure.
And 14 gallons less.
It makes it more fun to throw around though. You can kind of get like little pump boofs easier, just like fun moves like that. I think especially for smaller paddlers, like people in like the 100 pound, 120 pound weight range, I think this is going to be a boat that's pretty hard to beat for them as an all-around creeker. Yeah, the small Gnar, I mean, it's just a lot of bow volume, I think. And this doesn't feel like that. It does not feel, that's like one of the biggest differences that I noticed is a lot of times in boiling water, I find myself spending a decent amount of energy just correcting the bow of the Narvana, and I didn't notice any of that. Like it carved really well, stayed on line really well.
The medium Gnar they've spec'd at 140 to 200, and this they did 120 to 200.
Okay.
So it should be interesting to see how small the small is.
I would pretty much paddle this on anything that I paddle regularly.
Okay, yeah.
Like I would paddle this, you know, on the
when
truss
you're not pushing
or like
yourself.
No, yeah,
really
it felt
good in
pretty like confidence inspiring overall as a boat.
One last thought. Did you notice similarities to the Gnar, as in like, were you like, oh, this feels Gnar-ish, or does it feel like a totally different boat?
Oh yeah, it feels like a Narvana. I mean, it's same soft hits as the Gnar, very similar skip out as the Gnar. I had like maybe two of my best Maytag lines, big flex.
Oh, nice.
But
nice lean to a flat skip.
I don't know if it's the lack of stern volume or what, but yeah, it just felt really easy to boof at that spot specifically.
All right, we'll get a quick side-by-side here. Try to compare these rails. Actually looks kind of similar in the stern, in that they both faded just a single point. And then that sharp edge does look like the flow might be even sharper, like slightly kind of deeper on the way in, but similar. Yeah, I think it bumps out, feels like it bumps out a little more this way as well. Let's take a look up front. There's a little more rounded on the Gnar up here, where this line carries further into the bow. Let's show both there. 45 pounds, which is, that's the spec on a small Gnar. My small Gnar weighs like 44, and it's about the same volume as a small Gnar.
Okay.
So I don't know what they're claiming, but that's pretty light for a medium boat.
Yeah.
I think the medium Gnar is more like 50.
Small medium,
right.
Like it's not
8'5". Yeah. All right, we got Zen 1 in the house. Paul, what year is this?
It's a 2014 Zen.
2014 Zen.
Sturgis' old boat.
Oh, Russ Sturgis' old
Did
boat.
some crazy stuff in double drop. Still has the oil canning to prove it.
Yeah, look at that.
The OG.
The Zen 1
Yeah,
looks so
baby.
much better than the Zen 2.
Yeah, I think so.
The Zen 1's sweet.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
About $50 Jackson. It's in great shape. I just got it from a buddy. Weird boat. It's really connected to the water. It doesn't have a lot of rocker, and it's fast. It's fast.
It's like the OG boat.
It's OG.
Yeah.
but it's quick because it's just the water line.
Hell yeah.